Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And what do you do when you've flushed all fan goodwill, all gamer goodwill down the toilet with a particular franchise? You go back to basics. And we're gonna talk about the pivot to, I believe, a single-player Batman Arkham game. This is a rumor. And Warner Brothers attempt to course correct to right the ship after they lost hundreds of millions of dollars on Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and also MultiVersus, which was an online kind of a Smash Brothers game with Warner Brothers characters. It got so bad that their CEO had to step down, or he is stepping down.
Wow.
They've lost a lot of money. They haven't had a big hit since Hogwarts Legacy. And
how do you go from Hogwarts Legacy to that?
You let the wrong people make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You let them have carte blanche with your checking account, and this is what happens time and time again. So it's not going to happen again. I think Warner Brothers is going to be like, okay, what do we have that actually can make some money? And people love the Arkham games, but you're going to have to give them a proper Arkham game, right? So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
This comes from Bloomberg. Jason Schreier. Warner Brothers video game division faces thin slate, leadership uncertainty, and Wonder Woman issues. Wonder Woman issues. They took $300 million in losses in gaming, and that was, I think, $100 million for MultiVersus and $200 million for Suicide Squad.
And this is right after Hogwarts Legacy. You know,
so all games.
Wrap my head around that.
All games were wiped out. Like Hogwarts Legacy was a huge hit. They were bragging about how they made like $200-300 million, and then these two titles wiped out $300 million. Can you imagine how many smaller games you could have made for $300 million?
I know, right?
That's
insane.
Stop. So yeah, they said, Warner Brothers games had just suffered through a dismal year, marked by a $200 million write-down in May on a painful flop. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, followed a few months later by $100 million on Harry Potter Quidditch Champions and the fighting game MultiVersus.
Okay, so there was still a Harry Potter game, but it still didn't do well.
Yeah, nobody cared about that game.
Yeah, I know, right?
So CEO David Zaslav told investors in November the company's video game business was substantially underperforming its potential. Well, yeah, because they're going to look at Hogwarts Legacy and they're going to be like, every game we put out needs to be Hogwarts Legacy.
Right.
It needs to
That's
sell
an expectation now.
Yeah. And they have Batman, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. It's like, what the hell are you doing wrong? Right? They have a bunch of different divisions. They should be able to compete with Take-Two and Electronic Arts. They have 2,000 people across a dozen subsidiaries with offices across the world, and they cannot get their shit together. It's really sad. Even Mortal Kombat is or has been an evergreen franchise, and they kind of buried it with Mortal Kombat 1. There's a lot of buzz when it first came out, and then they started making some dumb decisions with it, and people were like, yeah, I'm out. I'm out. So they were apparently counting on that revenue, though. They said they were counting on Suicide Squad and MultiVersus to generate revenue throughout this year, but instead ended up having to support both games.
Yeah. So it's like count your chickens before they hatch kind of thing.
Yes, it was very much like you can project till the cows come home, right? But you don't know how the consumers are actually going to react. I mean, you can kind of tell with like pre-orders and stuff like that. But yeah, they ended support for both games. So they were like, oh, these games are going to carry us. Oh, shoot. It's kind of like what's going on with Ubisoft, right? Ubisoft is, they were betting on Star Wars Outlaws to carry them. It wound up being a huge flop.
Well, anybody who looked at that trailer could have told them that was going to happen.
They don't want to hear it. What they try. I think what happens is it does get to the. I mean, this is just a hunch I have. I don't think the executives are dumb per se, but I think that they're aware that people aren't happy, but then the people underneath them are just telling them it's a small group of vocal critics.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like it's not a small group of vocal critics when you underperform by millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? It's the majority of people do not care.
So it's like a worm tongue situation.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think that's what's been going on. I think for at least the last, 5, 6, 8 years, these people would be like, oh, it's just the bigots. Just the bigots are mad because my friend over at Polygon said, my friend over at Kotaku said, no, but they're all excited on the message boards, on the Discords. Trust me, it's going to be a huge hit. And then it comes out and it's a huge failure. And it's like, prior to the DEI era, I think that the executive would have gone with their gut, which would have been, look, the reactions are not good. Let's send this one back to the kitchen for a year or two, get it right, and then release it or cancel it or something. Because in a lot of cases, you'd be better off just canceling the whole game than you would be, releasing it and losing even more money, especially if it's a live service game. But they said, one of the company's biggest bets in development, a video game based on Wonder Woman, has struggled. So I didn't know that they were even working on Wonder Woman.
Here did I, but I'm like, that doesn't, no, I don't want them in charge of a Wonder Woman game. Does that make sense? It's like, going by what they've done so far, I'm just like, I'd rather you not.
A Wonder Woman game done right could be really good.
Exactly. That's why I said I don't know if I want these people in charge of a Wonder Woman game.
Yeah. But the game has already cost more than $100 million.
Holy.
And it's still years away from release. So this is another huge problem with AAA gaming, is it takes so damn long to bring these games out. Longer than movies. Mm-hmm. Like you can
way longer.
You can put a Marvel movie out in half the time it takes to put a AAA game out. It's ridiculous. And some of these games are several years away. So you have to realize, from an executive's point of view, you want to see a return on investment as soon as possible. You can't be shelling out hundreds of millions of dollars and letting it float out there for 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 years in some cases. 8 years. I mean, look at Dustborn or Concord or however long it took for those to come out.
I was going to say the problem is because they're sitting there for development for 8 years. You got sensibilities from 8 years ago being promoted today, and it does not work. And they said they're talking about getting back to profitability, and we won't get back to the profitability we want to get back to in the next 2 to 3 years. It's going to take 2 to 3 years to rebuild, reset, and then bounce back. But they said that part of the problem was under the leadership was that there was a lot of reorganizations, a lot of ineffectual trend chasing, and wasted development time.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Now they're not gonna say what those ineffectual trends.
We all know
were.
what it is.
It's DEI. It's DEI.
Yeah, if that's Sweet Baby Inc. If that's Sweet Baby Inc. could be interested in, then it's what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're gonna say, oh no, it's because live service, which is part of it too. I think they need to go back to significantly cheaper games that focus on gameplay over graphics, and can be turned around in like 2 years, 3 years versus 5 years, 6 years.
Well, wait, it gets even better. This guy that's been in charge came from a toy background, and they said that he joined in 2013, but he was head of it. They said he's a polished executive who does not appear to spend much time playing video games himself.
Wait, wow.
And they said something subordinates occasionally found challenging as they tried to walk through the nuances of product decisions. And it'd take a month to get answers to their questions on matters big and small that also put them behind.
Why the hell was this guy in charge?
That's what I want to know. They're
Why
like, it
was he in
sounds to me
charge?
like this guy doesn't play games himself, was listening to the people that were probably telling him what to do, and then was picking things that were like Sweet Baby Inc. type situations, chasing after DEI and
because that's what happens. So what happens is, and we said this before with Sweet Baby Inc. You can get angry about Sweet Baby Inc., but they are a symptom of a bigger problem, which is the trend. Everybody's being told the trend was diversity, equity, and inclusion in gaming because, oh my God, all the journos are writing about it and this and that, and everybody else they're doing studies, academic studies. So they paint the picture that there's this massive problem in gaming, and then you have to go find a solution. So you've got these people like Sweet Baby Inc. setting themselves up as the solution to your problem, which doesn't really exist. And they actually cause more problems because now they've cost you hundreds of millions of dollars And a Suicide Squad game in the Arkham universe should have been Money in the Bank.
It should have been, but it wasn't. I don't know what they were smoking on half of that stuff.
Yeah, so now they're saying, let's see here. Subsidiaries such as Warner Brothers Games Montreal and Monolith Productions staff members felt stuck in limbo as they waited for decisions from Haddad and his team. The execs in Burbank may have felt pressure to avoid making big calls at the time because their entire organization was beset with uncertainty. Shortly after he started, the division's parent company was purchased by AT&T. So he basically probably got a pass because they kept merging and selling. And
right, they were distracted.
They were distracted. And I think that's how a lot of these executives hide, basically. They hide in the chaos of war, the fog of war, right? There's so much going on. You just kind of keep your head down and just kind of, do your thing, and you're going to collect that, massive paycheck every week for doing nothing. Because it sounds like you didn't do anything.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
just even answering people about important things. They needed to get stuff done.
There's a lot going on politically in the organization. The focus on games was perhaps lost.
This is interesting down here, too. They're saying eventually Warner Brothers could decide to emulate Walt Disney Company and license more of its franchise to external companies. Says this Matt Dion. He said, I think we'll see more licenses get farmed out to experienced developers while the remaining Warner Brothers game studios are left to focus on things they're actually good at.
I would love to see somebody else take a whack at Mortal Kombat, because it hasn't been, I don't think it's been very good for a very long time. And I think that there are other companies out there. I would love to see somebody do a 2D, like a retro style Mortal Kombat with the digitized actors and stuff again.
Mm-hmm. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be awesome. And it would, if it was done well and you had somebody that actually cared about it, I think it'd sell like hotcakes.
I think it's like hotcakes anyway, just because if you're a Mortal Kombat fan and you go back to the old way it looked, people are gonna go nuts for it.
Yeah, I mean that's what people think. Like what most people, like our generation, right? That grew up with Mortal Kombat. That's what we think of, or those first three games. You tell me Mortal Kombat, the very first thing that pops up in my mind is Mortal Kombat 2.
Fatality.
Right? Yeah. And just roll with it and do the digitized actors, the whole damn thing, and just make a new 2D 32-bit style Mortal Kombat game. And don't have a bunch of DLC. The game ships the way the game ships. We don't need $10 fatalities. We don't need it to be a greatest hits of all the damn Warner Brothers character roster that they have.
Well, this person is a data analyst with a research firm that, is working for investors and things like that. And he's like, I think we need to farm out these licenses because they can do what they can do, but they aren't good at everything.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not. And I know Avalanche did Harry Potter, and he goes on and on. But the takeaway from this apparently is that they're looking at doing a standalone. Oh no, it is a live service game. Oh, that sucks. They said the Montreal studio began working on a new live service Batman game. They hoped would freshen up the franchise by ditching Bruce Wayne. Wait, what?
Wait,
whoa. Halfway through again? The Montreal studio. Who the fuck is greenlighting this stuff? Montreal studio began working on a new live service Batman game with no Bruce Wayne. Halfway through development, it struggled to make progress on the new project. The studio dropped the live service component. Okay, in 2022, it released Gotham Knights, which went on to receive mediocre reviews and generate tepid sales.
So so they did drop it, but they were going to try to do a Batman live service game that had no Bruce Wayne in it.
And that's where Gotham Knights came from. God, I knew Gotham Knights was a piece of shit, but
literally, who would think that was a good idea and that's something they should do? Who was leading the game? Was it like
nobody was in charge?
No, but I mean, like the game is like it's not Bruce Wayne. Then who's it going to be?
Well, it was everybody but Bruce Wayne.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, it was like, what are you doing? Like, I could see a Nightwing game. I could see, I mean, it would be kind of interesting. I would like to see I'd personally like to see a Batman game set in like the 1940s with that kind of whole noir aesthetic.
Batman type situation.
Yeah, or just go all in and let's do Batman 66. Let's do the campy, over the top, Batman. That would be I don't know.
I just think that doing Batman without Bruce Wayne is just just doesn't make any sense.
So here's Rocksteady. Here's where they come into it because, people were even commenting. They're like, how the hell did Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League look worse than the standalone Arkham games from 10 years ago? And but they said that they think they're going right here, all the way at the very bottom of the article. Rocksteady is looking to return to Batman for a single player game, but according to people familiar with the timeline, the new project is years away from landing. Years away. So basically, they're like, they know they have to change, but it's going to take them years. I think a smaller studio without the bloat, I think them outsourcing, I think would be the best thing they could do, because I guarantee you a smaller studio could put together in like 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm. That's where we're at. Like, the small studios are kicking everybody else's ass.
I mean, do we really need, because the thing with Batman is like, all it has to do is be as good as the games made 10, 15 years ago. Just make it that good. It doesn't have to be the...
Right, because the bar is so low at this point.
The bar is so low. I mean, that's what I was saying before about, did the video about PlayStation, how it looks like they're trying to pivot. Their biggest hit recently was Astrobot. And Astrobot was done on a shoestring budget. And
Game of the Year and stuff.
Yeah, it was a huge success for them. And it should have been a launch title with them. And those are the kind of games they need to be making. So the games don't have to be visually the most impressive thing out there. They just have to play really well. And I'm like, there are studios out there putting, passable PS3 level, PS4 level games out there, and they're doing it in a fraction of the time it's taking these studios to get their act together. They don't have time. You can't wait 5 years for a Batman game. Get people good, because apparently the VR one's pretty good. I haven't played it because I don't have a VR, but it's pretty good. So I don't know, guys. Good luck. It just sounds like they're changing everything. I just don't think it's gonna happen for them fast enough. We're gonna wrap it up. Mm-hmm. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.